testing our agility and stamina with Mirror's Edge, ganging up on the Chimera again in the Resistance 2 beta, and seeing our newly rebuilt house promptly destroyed by Gabe and Tycho in Penny Arcade Adventures Episode 2. Oh yeah, we're also defending the Republic of Gallia in Valkyria Chronicles. Mix well with a cooking lesson, serve with a side of greens, and you'll have today's on the spot.
To lose and gambling's for fools, but that's the way I like it, baby. I don't want to live forever. Apparently I am.
Yes, sir. Unbelievable performance by Shredding for Freedom. That's the On the Spot house band. What's up, everyone? It's another episode of On the Spot. I'm your host, Brian Eckberg, and Shredding for Freedom is back in the studio. I want to talk to those guys real quick because, guys, we're showing up a brand new drum set. Tyler, you've got a drum set.
I do have a drum set. This is the Ion Drum Rocker drum kit. This is the big $300 drum kit, the kind of professional kit that they've been talking about. We finally got one in to play around with, and it's kind of cool.
Pretty awesome.
So nice, we have to give it back.
We have to give it back, and that's Isaac from Dead Space who's doing the singing, right?
Isaac Clarke on the vocals now. Kid. Stay away from the zombies.
That's
no
right.
more necromorphs.
That's actually Tor Thorson, who's the only man in America who could sing a Motorhead song. Because that's how Tor talks.
That's Tor? I totally didn't know. I thought that was really Isaac Clarke.
He sounds just like Lemmy, but check this out. That helmet that he is holding, we're giving that away. It's got Tor's sweat in it, too.
We can't give the drums away. We can give this away.
That's right. The drums they got to send those back, but the helmet is coming to one lucky GameSpot viewer of On the Spot next week. We're going to be giving that away. We've got a really good giveaway. I'm going to flash it on the screen real quick. I'm giving this away this week. It's really awesome. We'll talk a little bit more about Neverwinter Nights in a little bit. But Kristen Riley, we have a great show for you today. Unfortunately, we have some bad news because Resistance 2, I know we said we were going to have it on the show today, but Insomniac is patching that game right now, and we can't show you guys the multiplayer like we wanted to. So unfortunately, we can't have that on the show. But Kristen, we've got a bunch of Resistance 2 stuff coming up next week, right?
We do. We are actually having our Resistance 2 marathon next Friday. So not tomorrow, but a week from Friday, Halloween Day, actually, is what it's going to be. So after you get to watch our super cool Halloween episode on next Thursday, you can tune in Friday for our Resistance 2 marathon. So we're really sorry we couldn't show you Resistance 2 today. We're sorry.
Yeah, we feel bad, but, you know, hey, it's a beta. They're patching the game, trying to make it work right before it comes out. So
yep,
check back next week, Resistance 2 marathon. We're going to have all the Resistance 2 you can handle. Right now, we're going to go to a video before we get to the rest of a really busy show today. We're going to show you guys what's happening this week with the new releases. So let's go to that right now.
This week's new games will have us bringing back the 3rd Street Saints, jumping around in zero gravity, and running and gutting with the Navy SEALs. The second week in October is packed full of games for everyone. Saints Row 2 takes us back to Stillwater, but 5 years have passed. Waking up from a coma, you'll realize that your purple-clad clan you worked so hard to build up in the first game has been eradicated. Time to take the town back and build your gang up again. Running missions, driving madly in cars, and other activities outside the main missions ensure this disc won't leave your next-gen console or PC for a very long time. Don't forget the zombie minigame, because no game is complete unless there's a zombie or two thrown in. If space exploration is more up your alley, be sure to pick up Dead Space this week, and a nightlight. You're an engineer that's been sent out in space to see why the USS Ishimura hasn't been responding, and are expected to fix whatever's broken with their communication systems. What could possibly go wrong? Upon getting to the ship, you find out that the ship's not only broken, but the crew is turned into things. Things that really don't want their ship fixed. Toss in some zero-G gameplay, and this game is easily the creepiest game of the year. Dead Space will be scaring everyone's PS3, Xbox 360, and PC this week. SOCOM is back on the PS3, but with a new twist. Now available as a download from the PlayStation Network or a disc bundled with a Bluetooth headset, SOCOM Confrontation is multiplayer only. Grab your friends and engage in heated firefights with 8 to 32 players on one of 7 new maps or 2 classic ones.
We're now in possession of the bomb.
Exclusively for the DS this week is Naruto Path of the Ninja 2. With a storyline that was created exclusively for this game, current fans of the series will enjoy this game, as well as newcomers. Gather your party for some intense turn-based role-playing, or play online through Nintendo's Wi-Fi Connect. Also out this week is FIFA Soccer 09 across all platforms, and Blitz the League 2 for the Xbox 360 and PS3. Those are the new releases for the week of October 11th. Whether you're looking to make a name for yourself in the streets or in space, we've got you covered here at GameSpot.
All right, there you go. That's the new releases from last week. I don't know what happened. Anyway, that's the new release from last week. If you caught the pre-roll before the show began, you had the new releases for this week. Not sure what happened there, but no big deal, because we got to move on to a game that is here in the studio. Got two special guests, Anthony Davis and GameSpot's own former guides editor, yes, formerly owned Matt Rory is here. Matt, guys, thank you for being here.
Ex-boss of bosses.
That's right. Welcome. We're so pleased that you're here, and you're here to talk about the second expansion for Neverwinter Nights,
Indeed.
right?
The second expansion pack to Neverwinter Nights 2 is called Storms Are Here. Do you want to go ahead and get started and show
Yeah,
off?
well, there's a ton to talk about with this expansion, but
so much to talk about.
We have a party of GameSpot players.
We
right
do.
Here.
One of the major new features here is the ability to make your entire party instead of just one character. So this guy here is a little guy named, actually doesn't even know if it shows his name, but
It's right up at the top, Brian Eckberg.
it is right up at the top.
Yeah.
It's Brian Eckberg right
That
here.
name's familiar.
Always.
Yes, I don't know. So we made Brian here a great orc barbarian. So
Okay.
Got his war paint on.
He's got no charisma, no intelligence, but you got a lot of strength. You got a lot of physical strength.
That's
so.
right. You know me too well, Matt.
I'm going to show you real quick the party creation editor.
Okay.
So what you can do here is I got Ricardo in here, Christian, and we're going to add Frank Adams here real quick.
Frank Adams, the dwarf.
Frank Adams, the dwarf.
Right.
The dwarf warlock.
So before you guys had a sort of randomly generated party, now you can create your own. Is that how that's the story here?
Before you could always make your own character, but now what you can do is I can actually make your entire party, and so instead of making one character, you can actually make your entire party now. Have up to 4 characters right at the beginning of the game, and they'll also be joined by more pre-created characters as you play through the game. Cohorts is what they call them.
So you're not just limited to 4 characters as you play through it.
4 characters, 1 cohort, and then with the new leadership feat, you can then pick up a second cohort for a total of 6 people in your party.
Very nice.
So I just want to show you this real quick, but now we're going to load up some actions from later in the game. So
Okay.
you can go and load this real quick.
While we're loading that up, I want to talk about, well, there's a new map. Well, let's set up the story. What's happening in this second expansion?
Well, what happens in the second expansion is that it's called Storm of Zahir because Zahir is a new god who's trying to come into power in the Forgotten Realms, which is where this game takes place. So you're trying to figure out how he's coming to power, what he's doing behind the scenes in the Forgotten Realms, and ultimately you have to kind of discover what's behind that. So it's kind of a very ominous type situation that's going on.
Okay.
And Zahir is a 4th edition deity, and so this expansion is sort of a lead up into the 4th edition release of the Dungeons & Dragons rules.
Okay.
And so this is what we're seeing here is called the Overland Map. It's a brand new feature that we've added for Storm of Zahir. It's one of the big new selling features. Instead of having a 2D map that is actually just something that you kind of click on a location and go to. You can actually freely explore, find a bunch of different dungeons and stuff like that. You can see monsters actually spawn on the Overland map, and these guards will actually attack them. But if you want to, I'm going to go and start a fight so I can show you some stuff here. You can see the guards are attacking. If you want to, you can go and join the battle. I'm going to go and do that. So when you find a monster on the Overland map, you just go ahead and say, if you can avoid them, because sometimes they'll actually hunt you down if you can't hide from them. You can use all kinds of skills trying to hide from them. But if they catch you, they'll actually attack you.
Oh, it's about to be on here.
Oh, it's a big fight too. I'm going to go ahead and use my demon summoning ability here. So she's going to go and summon a demon.
And is that the new Warlock class?
This is the new Warlock class called the Hellfire Warlock.
Okay.
And she's got some pretty cool effects, like Hellfire Shield and Hellfire Blast. This will do extra damage to anybody she hits, but it will drain her constitution. So if you keep on using this ability, she'll eventually die. You can see, but it's very powerful.
Very, yeah.
So
when you show the Overland map, you can avoid conflict that way, but you said things will chase you down. Are they typically faster than you, or can you avoid them if you want to?
Depending on the mob.
Okay.
Like wargs and wolves and things like that will actually be very fast.
If you have a high survival skill, if your current party leader has a high survival skill, that will help you outrun and avoid the creatures, as well as we make hide checks and spot checks, all those D&D skills that haven't been as utilized before. We really use all of them now as much as we can.
So here's an NPC called Umoja, one of the cohorts that we were talking about before. He actually has a dinosaur that will, dinosaur familiar. One of the other new things that we can do is summon familiars. You can also see a new AI feature here. The party members actually collect all the loot for you.
Nice.
Instead of having to click it on yourself.
Yeah.
Just running around picking it up.
So I guess another new feature we have is the death system. You see this guy is unconscious. He's about to, when he goes down to this red number here, he'll actually die.
He's bleeding out right now.
Till that happens, I can actually heal him. Let's see if I can find a healing spell.
In the previous expansion, they come to life right after combat.
Pop right back up.
Yeah.
People, it's been a lot of feedback. They want a little more challenge in the game, so we made it so that if they die, they fall unconscious first, and if they go to negative 50% hit points, they will actually die permanently, and you have to revive them somehow.
Okay.
From the beginning, Tony Evans and some of the other leads on the game, we've really sort of tried to capture an old school vibe with Storm of Zahir. The party creation, party conversation, the death system. We have a brand new revamped crafting system, and several other layers on features, and just everything is just combines to make a sort of an old school vibe RPG, but with modern, easy to use interface.
Systems, yeah.
You guys feel like answering a question from our viewers?
Totally.
Kristen, let's have a question for the guys.
Hey guys, so Josh Lofton from Windsor wants to know, how many different types of characters can you make?
Oh my goodness.
Just looking at it earlier, there looked to be hundreds of combinations.
Well, in terms of like multi-class, and there's almost infinite combinations you can make. I think right now we have like 15 base classes.
15 base classes and like another 15 prestige classes.
So there are a lot of, and obviously you can multi-class all this as well together. So if you want to have like 3 different kind of classes, you can.
We added 3 new classes for Storm of Zahir. We added the Swashbuckler, which is a new base class. The Hellfire Warlock, which is a Warlock Prestige class.
Speaking of the Doom Guide here, this is our anti-undead class. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn undead here. These zombies should fall down pretty quick, I think.
Nice.
Just kind of pop
Oh,
down.
those are drowned. Those are a little tougher.
Ghosts, gas, I think.
Oh,
gas
yeah, you're
and ghouls,
right.
yeah. I think I've been crippled or something like that.
Well, let me ask you, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but the 4.0 rules are now officially released. What other kind of nods do you have to the D&D 4.0 rules?
Well, there's the story nod, and then the death system is a remap,
And for the most part, this is a 3.5 edition.
It is still
game.
a 3.5 game. There's a lot of story elements where you will talk to people and they will talk about, I don't know if I should spoil some of this, but there are maybe visions of the coming apocalypse and the spell plague and all of those interesting elements that are part of the 4th edition story change.
But the mechanics are still pretty much 3.5.
3.5, pretty familiar stuff. We're looking forward to working with the 4th edition rules at some point, but for this kind of project, the Neverwinter Nights 2 engine is very 3.5. So.
And how friendly is this for someone who maybe hasn't been playing Neverwinter Nights 2 for a long time?
This expansion is actually really friendly. You can start off at level. You actually start off at a low level. It's not a continuation of the story, so it's a completely new story. I'm gonna try and run away right now because I have I'm so weak at it. Oh gosh, see they pop up and they will
get you.
The thing is, if I had a good hide check, I could actually run past these guys and they would not be able to do much to me. But now I've got I'm probably gonna wipe that or something like that.
While we're loading that up, let's have another question from Kristen.
Before we're doing this, a lot of people are actually asking if you have to. Is this a standalone, or do you have to have the original Neverwinter Nights?
You do have to have the original Neverwinter Nights 2. You do not have to have the first expansion though. So it's a standalone expansion. But obviously, if you try and turn some more undead here, it's getting pretty dark.
Yeah.
But you do not. It is not a standalone. You do have to have Neverwinter Nights 2. But coincidentally, Neverwinter Nights 2 Gold is out now.
That's right. And speaking of that, guys, we have a signed copy. I don't know if we can get a shot of this, but this is a Neverwinter Nights 2 Gold edition signed by pretty much the entire dev team, right? Except for you, Anthony.
My signature was missed.
There's Fergus on there, Josh Sawyer, Chris Avalone, a lot of the guys behind some of the classic PC games of the past. So
yeah.
And obviously all the team members for Neverwinter Nights 2. A lot
Except
of people,
for me.
the unsung heroes. So
maybe we'll get you to sign that, right? But we're going to give this away at the end of the show with the trivia questions. So stay tuned for that because this is going out to one lucky viewer. It's awesome. Thanks for bringing that.
Yeah, no worries.
So let's. I don't know if you finished your point, Matt. This is a friendly game for people who haven't played the.
Totally friendly. Yeah, it's. You should probably go through the original campaign first to get used to the cameras and everything like that. But once you're familiar with the game mechanics, you'll start at a low level. You can make your entire party, so there's a lot of customization there. So it's all about player freedom, and I think our designers did a really good job on it. And obviously, it looks really beautiful too.
Awesome.
You can walk into these forests and they actually fade away, and
that guy's going to run you down. Man.
Yeah,
they won't stop chasing you.
Yeah.
Kristen, do we have one more question for the guys before we let them go?
We do. This comes from Liad Nimi from Israel. He would like to know about the character customization and are there any new skills or clothes or weapons that have been added?
There are always new weapons involved. There's also a lot of new feats too.
There's new feats. There's new faces, new hairstyles,
new races.
As far as customization for the modding community, we've added new clothing sets, lots of new armor sets, new textures, and things like that. So there's a lot of new stuff for the community to take advantage of.
Very cool. Well, Matt, one personal question for you. We had Greg Casalvan here in the studio a few weeks ago, and I asked him what's it like moving on from the writing business into the making games business. What's your perspective on that?
It's very, very different, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, you get to work with games, a bit early in the process, so it's been interesting that way. And I think I'm about to get killed here, but it's really fun. It's really fun, I guess.
You're enjoying it.
Sometimes I miss writing game guides, but then I think about what I do now, and it's all right, I enjoy this too, so.
Well,
yeah,
awesome.
Been an adventure.
Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. Matt, it's great seeing you as always.
Good.
And
hi, everybody.
Yeah, right now we're going to head over to the standing set where Kristen is with Sean McInnes and a girl named Faith.
We are. We have Faith from Mirror's Edge along with Sean. Don't forget about you. So for people who are living under a rock who haven't heard about Mirror's Edge, real quick, what's the overview? What is the point?
Basically, Mirror's Edge is a first-person platforming game, which is pretty much unheard of. The first-person perspective was always associated with shooters, pretty much. So this game is really unique. It's basically sort of a parkour game, which is the sport of running and jumping on urban landscapes, like stairways and off of buildings and stuff like that. And so basically what they've been showing off for the most part is the story mode, and one of the relatively new features of the game is the time trial feature, and that's what we're going to get into right now.
All right, let's go ahead and jump in.
This is a level called Edge, and the cool thing about the time trial mode is that it gives you a little insight into just how unique this is as a platforming game, because momentum is incredibly important in this game. And you can see right there that little red ghost. That's like a marker from my best time on this level here. So I'm trying to catch up to that guy. And the way the game works is that, oh, nice.
Good roll.
Yeah. So I've got the PlayStation 3 controller here. It's L1 to jump, L2 to L2 to basically roll or to lift up your legs and that sort of thing. Like I'll tuck in my legs right here, like that.
That way you keep your momentum.
Yeah, exactly. And you move the camera just the same as a typical dual stick first-person shooter.
With the right one, then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So the little red dude, is that your previous time's path?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
I was talking to Brian earlier. I know Brian's a big racing fan. I was telling him this kind of reminds me of a racing game, the time trial mode at least, because basically what you're doing is you're trying to shave seconds off your best time, and you're trying to take the ideal corner through every different path in the game, and all of the most minute little things you can do matter a lot.
So, I mean, that includes like tucking your legs up, that includes rolling when you land, that way you don't lose all your momentum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, doing the perfect combination of moves to get up there and to get your momentum going.
Right, and that last time I pretty much tried following my my best time with the Ghost. I'll take a different route this time to show you how important momentum is. Like, instead of jumping over there, I can slide underneath that right there. And that Ghost is really kicking my ass right now.
Yeah, you're getting smoked.
Yeah.
That's definitely not helping.
So this is a slightly different route. There's a bit more grabbing onto obstacles, losing your momentum. Yeah, this game it's really cool because you can play it as a first-person shooter. There are guns in the single-player story, but they really don't help you out very much. Your first instinct, which is really cool, is just to drop the gun immediately because you get more momentum when you don't have anything in your hand. And you can sort of maximize your movement.
So, but you're like a normal person in this though too. You can't take a bunch of hits when people are shooting at you.
Oh no, definitely not. I think I missed a marker back there. I'll go ahead and restart this. Yeah, you're basically just an everyday lady. Her name is Faith. She's sort of like a rooftop messenger.
Yeah, they call her what, a runner?
A runner, I think. Yeah, and she's just running parcels, packages all over town, and her job is to be really agile, really fast, and jump far.
So we've talked about the time trials where we can race against Argos. We've talked about the story a little bit.
Okay.
What is the multiplayer?
I don't believe there is any multiplayer in this game. There's leaderboards in the time trial, and that's, I think, the closest you can get to multiplayer as far as I know.
So we can jump on there and see how we compare to everyone else.
Exactly,
How we stack up. How have you been stacking up?
I think I'm doing okay. I mean, the game's not out yet, so obviously the ghosts up there are not that great, but I like to think of myself as pretty good.
As the ghost is still ahead of you.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, we're sitting here and trying to catch this ghost. Let's go ahead and take a couple questions from Brian.
Yeah, let's see. John Sandy from Magnolia, Texas. I'm not sure if he's referring to the regular game or the time trials here, but he wants to know, do you have to hit checkpoints in advance, or can you take a completely unique route to your destinations?
There are checkpoints in the time trial, but they give you a lot of leeway as far as what types of routes that you want to take. In the single player, it's pretty much wide open. You can do whatever you like. Although the unique thing about the game is that the environments are very sparse, very sort of white and pristine, except for the occasional bright red object, which is sort of your hint to tell you need to go there, take those stairs. But I'm pretty sure that once you unlock hard difficulty, it takes that all away, and it makes it a much more challenging game.
So it's all white, so then you really don't know quite where to go.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, hey Brian, you want to toss one more our way?
Yeah, let's see. Zach Stedman from Manchester, UK. He wants to know about fall damage. How easy is it to die?
It's very easy to die. I will show you, in fact, in just a couple seconds here. If you misjudge a jump and you do not clear the gap, you will die. And it's very easy. Like, I'll try to shimmy over here. I'm like, whoa, this is easy. No, it's not. Sweet death, here I come.
What about if you just take a really high a really high jump and land?
Okay, I'll do that right now. Basically, what you need to do is when it's a really high jump like this and you don't roll, you'll take a little bit of damage right there. And if you hit the L2 button, that'll do sort of a combat roll. It'll keep your momentum going. It'll shift that movement to a roll action, and you won't take any damage.
Now, what about with the controls on this? Have you found yourself getting, motion sickness at all?
No, but then again, I'm one of those people who can read in the car and not get nauseous at all. I know it may be a little polarizing for people just seeing this sort of perspective without a hand on there to sort of anchor you and let you know this is a first-person game. But yeah, I love it quite a bit. I know Brian's a fan, but I know there's some people who walk by and they're like, what is going on? What's the deal with this first-person platformer?
Follow-up to that.
Sure.
Stephen Cash from Brooklyn, New York wants to know, it sounds like you can easily overjump or underjump because of the camera. Is that true?
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Just like this. One of the funny things about single player is it's not in the time trial because they want to keep it fast, but in single player you'll hear sort of like a gross splat sound when she hits the ground, which is a little disturbing. But yeah, if you get cocky and you try to do a sweet 360 like this, you won't make it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, Sean. When's it coming out? What are we coming out on?
It's coming out on November 11th, I believe, for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and the personal computer.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sean.
My pleasure.
I'm going to go ahead and head back to Brian and see what he has to say.
All right, well, I have news for us. This has been a really busy couple of weeks for news. Just the last week, we had some huge news break on the BioWare front, and we also had some stuff that I think we're going to be talking about here in just a few seconds. And this is called stretching. While Tor gets set up on the standing set to talk about what's been going on in the gaming world, Kristen, you're with Tor Thorson, who is a really good singer. I had no idea.
As long as it's Motorhead, I'm a great singer.
I had no idea, Tor could sing. We've heard him yelling and stuff on The Office before, because that's just kind of what you do. But
maybe.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm classically trained opera singer. So.
Classically trained.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
So, Tor, what's going on? You're our news guy. Where do people go to find the gaming news?
Well, you can come over to news.gamespot.com, and this week, by far, the biggest story was BioWare and LucasArts unveiled the Star Wars: The Knights of the Old Republic, which is their long-rumored, much-awaited, massively multiplayer online role-playing game set in the Star Wars universe. And it's being developed, as I said, by BioWare, which are the guys who just, did the original Neverwinter Nights we just saw, and did Mass Effect and whatnot. So it's
They know what they're doing.
Well, they actually don't, because it's their first
MMO.
It's for their first MMO. They know they're doing that, so that's what everyone's really interested, because they're so renowned for their RPGs like Mass Effect and Knights of the Old Republic, which is the original game. So this is going to be really, really interesting to kind of, see what they do with this. And so the expectations are through the roof, and we have a video, I believe, a little video clip.
Let's go ahead and check it out then.
So in terms of when the idea for the Old Republic came up at BioWare, I think it's been, doing an MMO is something we wanted to do for probably over a decade. And we wanted to wait until we had the right team, the right partners, the right IP.
And I think the timing was pretty serendipitous that way. Is that BioWare wanted to work with us, they wanted to do an MMO, they had a lot of experience in playing MMOs, and they wanted to bring some of their learnings and some of their aspects of gameplay, mainly storytelling, and bring that into MMOs.
And just make sure we had everything assembled to be able to make a great game. So finding the partners at LucasArts and working in the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic universe is a dream come true for us.
Yeah, I'd say this is definitely our biggest project. Yeah, we've worked on some very large games. I think Mass Effect was a big game, and Dragon Age is yet another big game. But Star Wars: The Old Republic is just plain huge.
I think what you see in a lot of MMOs today is high emphasis on character advancement, emphasis on combat, character customization, but what's really missing is that story element. You don't have the context for why you're doing all these missions and quests, why you're out killing 10 wolves, right? You don't understand the context. So story puts that into context, gives you much more of an immersive experience where you're really building a stronger relationship with your online character, your avatar.
And you really can't overestimate the impact of choice in the MMO space. And choice is something that actually in many ways doesn't really exist. You get a quest and you do your quest. It's not, you can't say, well, I'm gonna do something different, or you change your mind, or manipulate a character into having a different result. But that's really what we're talking about. It's the opportunity to have a greater degree of freedom and degree of choice in the game that never has been there before.
The biggest challenge for this game is the sheer amount of content we have to create. This is a huge game. And just to give you an idea of how huge this game is, we were taking a look at it, and really this game has more story content than every single other BioWare game put together that's come before. So that would mean Baldur's Gate 2, Neverwinter Nights, Knights of the Old Republic, Jade Empire, Mass Effect, and all the expansions.
The Old Republic takes place 300 years after the original Knights of the Old Republic, which puts us about 3,600 years before the movies. We've had a whole lot of changes since the KOTOR endings from KOTOR 1 and 2, and one of the things that's happened in the meantime between them is that the Sith Empire, the ancient Sith Empire, has actually been rediscovered. What we had before this in KOTOR is we had people who were sort of recreating the Sith Empire, and coming back declared themselves Sith, and then had a bunch of people they said were their Sith Empire. Now we have the actual Sith Empire, which means we're not conquering one planet, we're coming in mass. So the Sith Empire has reemerged, gone to war with the Republic, has really ground the Republic into the ground, and then there was a very tenuous peace. And when the game kicks in, it's right after that. Hostilities have started to rise up again, and the players get to come in and sort of take the roles of the big heroes that are happening at this pivotal moment.
One of the fantasies was, recreating that the dynamic of the original series, where you had Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, all on the Millennium Falcon, traveling around the galaxy. They're all working for the Rebel Alliance against the Empire, and there's that huge overarching story. The Rebels against the Empire. You have the attack on Hoth. You have the battle over the Death Star. But at the same time, each of the characters, Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, had their own personal story. Han Solo was being pursued by Boba Fett because he owed money to Jabba the Hutt because of things he had done in his past. Luke Skywalker had to go and train under Yoda, and he had a father who was kind of a mean guy as well. And you had these two characters who had very personal stories, but at the same time they had joined together and were involved in the epic war between the rebels and the Empire.
I think what we can bring to the table is, with our experience with the brand and the knowledge of what's worked and what hasn't with Star Wars and what's most popular with our Star Wars fans, we bring those elements to BioWare and say, hey, we know what works here and what doesn't. Let's see if we can work together to kind of tweak this a little bit or tweak that. And that's how the collaborative partnership's working.
So in terms of when the game's coming out, I think one of the things you can trust is that at BioWare we're going to take the right amount of time to deliver a great experience for our fans. At the same time, we're part of Electronic Arts, and we're committed to making sure we deliver a great game that's for our fans as soon as we can, because we know you're eager to play it like we are.
Okay, Tor, so let's talk a little bit about any questions that the trailer might have invoked.
We have a lot of questions. That's the reason, because they didn't really tell us any details. They didn't tell us how much it's going to cost or if it's going to cost anything, but I'll get to that in a second. And originally, it was originally floated that was going to come out in 2009, but now they're kind of being really hedgy with the release. They're basically saying, give us the age-old adage, when it's done.
It'll come out when it's done.
When it's done. But I've got a lot of faith in this project, and I'll tell you why. The lead designer, his name's James Olin, and he was the lead designer for the original Baldur's Gate, the original KOTOR, the original Neverwinter Nights, all at BioWare. So he's got a lot of experience with this stuff. And they've built this whole new studio in Austin just dedicated to massively multiplayer games. So they're putting a lot of resources behind it. And finally, they say follow the money. A big reason EA paid $860 million to buy BioWare Pandemic, they said was then their unnamed MMO. So if John Riccitiello is going to drop a couple $100 million to get his hands on this, it's going to be really, really big.
He's going to drop it in the right place.
Yeah, he's saying it was worth it. So it's going to be a really interesting project, but again, we don't know any of the little details. There are 2 classes confirmed, Sith and Jedi, but they say there's going to be other ones. And the press materials, they mentioned like elite troopers. They mentioned a couple planets, Coruscant, the big capital planet, Tython, the Jedi homeworld, and Korriban, if you played KOTOR, which is the ancient Sith homeworld. So, they've got a lot of detail in it. They've got 12 full-time writers writing all the time, some as long as 2 years, and they're describing it, because a lot of people were angry that they didn't come out with KOTOR 3. They were but they're saying this is KOTOR 3, 4, 5, and 6, as you heard them say. So they're putting a lot of resources behind it, we'll see what happens. I don't know. They're saying it's their biggest game ever. Oh, that's the other thing. It's got more dialogue options and story than all the other BioWare games that have come before in it combined. Every single one. So that's through Baldur's Gate to Mass Effect. That's what they're telling us. So it's a massive project. You can't say how small it is.
Yeah,
and speaking of massive projects.
Well, yeah, didn't something else kind of big come out?
Oh yeah, they finally released the BioShock 2 trailer today, actually, and that was leaked last week. It's going to be Sea of Dreams, and they confirmed with us exclusively that it's destined to be on PlayStation 3, PC, and 360. And the trailer's up live on the site right now, and we can actually take a look at that.
Let's check it out, because BioShock 2 is
BioShock 2 is an awesome game. Aw, she misses her big daddy.
There's butterflies in
It's sweet.
Bioshock, too.
I know, butterflies. Sunshine and rainbows. I'm sure there won't be any violence in it at
Not
all.
for
It's great. It's
Bioshock? What are
great.
you talking about?
Anyway, so yeah, that's scheduled to come out late next year, I believe, is when it's coming out on 360, PS3, and the personal computer, as young Mr. McInnes put it. So yeah, that's also big news. As far as others go, news this week, next week we'll have Ed Boon from Midway on the Hotspot, hosted by our very own Brendan Sinclair.
And that comes out on Tuesday.
That comes out Tuesday afternoon, and that'll be on the site, so we're going to be excited about that. And then this morning, I sat down with a guy named Shigeru Miyamoto. Maybe you've heard of him.
Oh, no,
anyway, and we and a bunch of other reporters had a real roundtable of him, and we'll have a write-up of that tomorrow. So all that can be found at news.gamespot.com for those of you out there who enjoy the news.
Thank you, Tor, for giving us a quick rundown of exactly what you do besides singing crazy in Dead Space helmets. We appreciate it.
That's all right.
But now we're going to pop over to Brian with a game that I know I'm going to screw this up.
No, you won't. Valkyria.
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 Yes.
It's like a Spanish Valkyrie.
I can't say it.
So.
Yeah, that's right. We got Valkyria Chronicles here. I'm joined by Christopher Kaminsky. How are you, sir?
Doing good.
Great. I'm really looking forward to hearing about this game because, first of all, the art style is gorgeous. There's a lot going on with this game. Set it up for us. What is Valkyria Chronicles?
Well, Valkyria Chronicles is a tactical RPG. So you can think of there have been a lot of tactical games before. Probably starting with kind of like XCOM is where I kind of think it starts. And what we've done is a couple of big things with it. One is the graphics, as you mentioned. The other is sort of where the gameplay goes. We really took it to the next step. So it's a PS3 game, and I'll start off with sort of the gameplay. And what really separates this from other tactical games is the combat system, which it comes off of the grid. You know, before every game since XCOM pretty much has been kind of it's been like a fancy game of chess. And so what we've done is we've taken and added like third-person action elements to it. So it's not like an action game per se, but when you're moving your character, you do have full control as if you were in an action game. People will be shooting at you in real time, but then because it's a tactical game and it's really the sort of a thinking person's game as well, when you go to take your shot, time stops, you can line it up and go like that. So we really took and brought this whole genre of tactical games into the modern age. And so it really feels fresh and alive as opposed to just my piece goes here.
Well, we're looking at gameplay right now. Where are we in the game? What are we doing here at this part?
So what you're seeing right now is this is one of the skirmish maps. About halfway through the game, you're in an area called Fausen. And what you can see right there, you can see that tank that just blew up. This is actual all real-time stuff. This is what the game looks like when you're moving a piece. So I'm going to bounce back out to the overhead map. This is where you get to look at and decide what you're doing. You can see it literally zooms in, and then
seamless.
And that's the idea, is to really make it feel like it's a real thing, like you're commanding troops. So you command your troops one at a time, and you see characters shooting at you. Now, the thing of it is, like I said, it's not really necessarily meant to be an action game, but the enemy fire at you is meant to give a sense of urgency and immersion in it. So you'll see that when you run into somebody's area of fire, they're going to fire at you automatically. When you shoot at them, if you don't kill them, they get a chance to fire back. Now, this is a turn-based game, so all of these real-time elements, all those things that the enemy is getting, are equally afforded to you. So if character runs in, or one of the enemy guys runs in front of you, you're going to get free shots on him. If he fires and doesn't kill you, you get to fire back.
That was a headshot. That was nice.
And headshots do count, too.
Pays to aim for the head. So what's mitigating how far you can move in a turn?
So you'll see down at the bottom, you'll see that orange bar. That orange bar is your action bar. So part of what we did of taking it off of that grid is, so instead of before you had a range of 6 squares you could move, now you essentially have a gas gauge. So you can, that'll be how far you can move. Now you can move a character more than once, but it's diminishing returns. You'll notice that Claudia, her bar isn't all the way full because she's already moved once this turn. So if you're in a pinch, you can use somebody more than once, but you can't rely on one person to carry the entire mission for you. I mean, there's definitely a team aspect to it as well.
And is there RPG elements? Are you building up these characters, or are they just sort of meat for the grinder?
No. Every character in the game is unique. Everybody has their own, they have voices, they have, they even have, so you'll be upgrading them throughout the game. Adding weapons, armor, things like that to them, but also individually, they have bonuses. Some characters do well when they're in city environments. They love it, so they get a little bonus. Other characters have grass allergies. So they actually get a little negative if you force them to go out into the grass. Some characters get along well with other characters. Some characters don't like other characters. So things like that.
Kind of got to know your forces.
And like a good commander.
Absolutely. Let's get some questions for Christopher from Kristen.
Okay, going back to characters, Naldo Napai from Montreal would like to know how many total characters are there for you to control?
You know, there are about 50 characters in the game, and one of the cool things about it is we also have Vice and Ica from Skies of Arcadia. Some of the key members from Valkyria worked on the Skies of Arcadia game, so it was a little bonus for the fans, Sega fans.
In this level?
They
Can we see
are,
them?
actually. Can you? Have we oh, unfortunately, we don't have them available just yet.
Right. But they're in the game.
They
That's really
are
cool.
in the game,
Very
definitely.
Cool. And I love these little comic book style effects with the shuffle. The little lettering effects are nice.
Well, you know, that's the idea behind the graphic style is that we took a PS3, because this is a PS3 exclusive, and we wanted to do something besides hyperrealism. So the canvas engine was meant to look like a watercolor painting come to life. So those little things, it's nice that you mentioned that, because it really is to emphasize just sort of the fantasy realm that we've created here, and the team's just done an amazing job with this graphics engine.
So as you're building up your characters, it seems like, as you mentioned, that you're building their attributes, you're building up their weaponry, I suppose. How are you handling death? Is death final, or if you lose a character, what are your options here?
So yeah, what we've done is that when a character falls, you have 3 turns to go and rescue them, and you have to get to them before an enemy character comes and tags them. If you do that, a medic will come in, pull them off, they'll go back to base, and you can actually call them in reinforcements in a couple of turns after they've healed. If you don't meet those conditions, though, they will be gone forever.
Okay. All right, well, let's have one more question from Kristen.
Okay, John Sandy from Magnolia, Texas, again, is talking about the screen. He says he wants to know about the shields at the top. He says, are those the max number of actions you get?
Oh, that's a great question. So when you start off, you'll have a number of those points. That's the pool of how many things you can do in one turn. So whenever you activate a character, it requires 1 of those little medals. Using a tank will require 2. And one of the key things to remember is that you don't have to use all of them. That bar is up to 20, so whatever you don't use, if it's to your strategic advantage, you can roll those over to the next turn up to a max of 20.
Are these encounters timed, or they're just as long as you want to go?
Nope, you can take as much time as you'd like to get through it.
Very nice. How much gameplay are we talking in Valkyria?
Oh wow! First time playthrough, you're probably looking at about 40 hours, and once you finish the game, you can start over with your characters at that level. You probably, unless you're going to do a lot of grinding, probably aren't going to get your characters up to max level. So it's worth it to play through a second time.
Absolutely. All right, Kristen, let's do one more question before we let Christopher go.
Okay. One of the questions that's been coming in, actually, several of people want to know about weapons. Are weapons character specific, or can different characters have different or the same weapons?
That's another great question. So when you level up your characters, you're going to level up an entire class. So you have like your shock troopers, who are your machine gunner guys, your snipers, your lancers, who are your artillery. They upgrade as an entire team. But the way you can customize individual characters is through weapons and armor. So you will be able to buy new weapons over time. You'll find some special weapons, and you can equip those on a per character basis. So each of the characters are different, so you can also kind of min-max. If you want to have a super accurate sniper, give them a gun that specializes in accuracy. If you want to round out your machine gunner, give them some extra damage, then you can do that too. So you can really play with it, really get into the customization.
From the sound of it, this sounds reminiscent of like the Fire Emblem series, where you had a large cast of characters. But my thing with the Fire Emblem series was I would always focus on like 2 or 3 characters that would make superhuman, and the other characters wouldn't advance. Are you sort of dealing with balance issues that way?
Well, that's exactly why we have it so that you upgrade as an entire group.
Okay.
So you don't have to focus on, if you do well with your snipers, then they all advance.
Okay, good.
And so you can pull in somebody else, whoever's specialized for the job.
Right on. So, of course, the final question is, when's this game coming out?
This game comes out November 4th, and actually the demo should be live right about now on PSN as well, too.
Awesome. PlayStation 3 exclusive?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Christopher, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Looking forward to Valkyria Chronicles. Right now, we want to go to a tape segment. Now, we're not going to get too political on this show, but the presidential elections are coming up, and we wanted to show you guys some special election coverage that you'll find on Xbox Live, and a really special treat from the Red versus Blue guys. So let's get to our political segment right now.
the marketplace. If you just log into Xbox Live, you're going to actually hit your stick to the left to get to the marketplace, the main marketplace, and you're actually going to go through the menus here and jump into the Rock the Vote section on Xbox Live. They've actually partnered with MTV, and they've done a lot for election awareness and political awareness. You can see, you can see the debates, you can see speeches, you can find out stuff on all the candidates. Hopefully, it helps you decide, you know, to vote, especially if you're in the 18 to 34 demographic, because we are the least likely to vote demographic, and that sucks since we're one of the biggest demographics out there. So we can literally decide which way the election goes. So if you're registered, vote. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's go check out the clip from Red versus Blue, because if you don't vote, you can't whine.
Hey guys, what's up? Church go blue. Huh? Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on. There we go. Sorry I was late. I had to take out the... Wait. Simmons is the party leader? All right, everyone ready? Why is Simmons the party leader? You got here first. You sent the invite. No Simmons. He always makes us play some ridiculously complicated custom game.
This is called blindfold. Everyone starts with dual plasma pistols and a flamethrower with no ammo.
No!
Speed is 3,000%.
Oh, come on, Simmons.
If you get hit with a green weapon like the plasma pistol, you have to hold your Xbox controller upside down until you get hit with a blue weapon like the plasma rifle.
What?
But if you're in a bubble shield, which is yellow, and you get hit by a plasma rifle, which is blue, then the yellow and blue make green. So...
Can't we just play Slayer?
No, this is fun. We played it last night for like 6 hours. You're gonna love it.
Slayer!
Why is it called blindfolds? Because every time someone shoots you with a needler, you have to close one eye.
No, it's because it's about as much fun as standing in front of a firing squad. What? No! Who started the game? Simmons, we don't want to play this! Everybody veto! Veto! Griff, veto! I can't, dude. I'm at Simmons' house. We're playing split screen. If I veto, he's gonna kick me out. Come on. We need one more. Somebody veto. Who didn't vote? Tucker, did you vote? He hasn't said anything in a while. I don't think he's there. Tucker!
All right, I've got a set for 5 rounds, 30 minutes a round.
Oh, Tucker, come on.
Yo, I'm back. Hey, Church, what's up, man?
Tucker, where were you?
I was getting some chocolate milk. What are we playing?
Don't even ask.
What? Why is Simmons the party leader? Oh, man, blindfolds? I hate this game. We played for like 30 hours last night. Everybody veto. Veto!
Too late.
All right, Tom, are you registered to vote?
Of course I am.
Okay, good. Good answer. Otherwise, we'd have to hurt you.
Oh, wow.
So, getting off that whole political tangent, you have the new Penny Arcade episode 2. Penny Arcade Standing on the Dark Precipice, episode 2.
Darkness.
Yeah, it's a really long name.
Yes.
I can never remember the whole thing. Okay, so we're back in the world with Gabe and Tycho.
Yep.
And so what are we doing here? What's going on?
Well, it's like a direct sequel to the other one because it's episodic. So you slayed one god in the first one. There's still 3 gods on the windowsill, and you have to. This will be, the quest to kill one god.
And so last time our house in the beginning, well, in the episode, got destroyed, and then we got it rebuilt, and now Gabe and Tycho have come back into our house, and single-handedly
Well, it
destroyed
once
it
again starts with the destroyed house.
Thanks,
So you're once again homeless,
guys.
and you seek help from the niece once again. And I have played through a couple levels so we can get through the stuff we've already seen. And now I'm on a rich street.
So we're
kind of a manor.
Yeah. So set this up. So we're in. Is this the gated rich community?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I just came from a sanitarium, but I needed to get something pretty, so I had to go to this community to try to get something.
Well, let's go find something pretty.
Okay. So you can see it kind of looks identical to the other game.
Mm-hmm.
You can interact with objects, and there's the battle system.
Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna roll, and they're gonna attack us. You can block.
Yes, yeah. At the bottom of the enemy's life bars, it'll say block and flash, and then you're supposed to time it.
Block.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So now in our turns, do we get? So I hate to say I actually didn't play the first episode, but in our turns, so we've got our 3 characters that we're controlling. During my turn, do I get to go with all 3 characters or just one?
Well, you get to go with all 3, but it's all like timing based. So the first thing that fills up is your item meter, the second thing is your normal attacks, and the third thing is your special attacks, which are the most powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you a reason to use all 3 of them. If you don't want to wait around for the powerful stuff, you can just use an item, and so forth.
Okay, do we get any other weapons besides the hoe? Because we've upgraded our rake to a hoe.
Yeah.
I mean, we're moving up in the gardening world now.
Yeah, it's the same kind of weapons as the first game, where Gabe uses his fists and Tycho uses a gun, and your character uses a wrench, or not a wrench,
gardening
a rake.
Instrument.
Gardening apparatus of death. And you can also still use the niece's help. She has a different attack this time, and it's ridiculously powerful, just like in the first game. The cat is.
So what? She's calling in like a satellite type thing?
Yes.
That's a balloon? Okay.
It's a little excessive for one person on the street, but you know.
Let's go, niece. Oh, so she just basically calls in an airstrike.
Yeah.
Nice. That completely annihilated that person. An overkill bonus. There we go. That's an awesome bonus.
Yeah.
So with your experience comes new skills, or what? What do we get when we level up?
When you level up, it automatically gives you certain boosts to attack or defense or speed. You don't get to choose specifically what you upgrade. It's everything's automated. If you get the overkill bonus, which is killing someone with a special weapon, then you get another boost as well, usually to combat.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and let's see if Brian has a question that we can toss over here to Tom.
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions from different folks. Tom, well, let's see. Abu Muhammad wants to know if you can, if there are any new skills or specials that you can acquire in this episode.
Well, the special moves for each character have been slightly tweaked. I think it was Gabe in the original had his special move was just rapidly hitting on the button as quick as you can, which is not really entertaining. This time, I'll cue it up right now. It's like a timed rhythm game where you have to hit the bumper buttons.
Bumper DDR.
Yes. And it's still, like, they're not the most engaging, little mini games, but they keep the action fresh and action oriented.
Oh, and sometimes they'll just bug out like that? Oh, she's just moving.
Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping she was just leaving.
They do leave more often in this game. And it still is the same as the old one, where you're not really punished for death, and you start every battle with full health.
Oh, that's not bad. So you can come out of a fight with 1 health and go back in and still be completely good.
Yeah,
so this mini game is find the Big Daddy-esque type thing? Big Daddy-esque?
Yes, the fruit fornicator, I guess you could call it.
That's a very good way to change his name for the show.
Yeah, we can't swear, but there's still an excessive amount of blood in this game, if you notice.
Yeah, it's definitely, I like when they die, they're going down and it's squirting all over.
That's another mini game then, McShack-Fu. Have you seen any new characters?
No, I haven't seen the new characters yet. And it doesn't look like the cat from the original, who was one of your helper characters, is in this one. But I'm still only a couple hours into the game.
Do you have a guesstimate on how long it might take you? Or
Well, the original was about in the 6 to 8 hour range, roughly, and I think this is supposed to follow suit. Because it's episodic, it's not going to be super long.
Yeah.
Stephen Cash from Brooklyn wants to know if you can use a save file from the first game to unlock anything in this episode.
I wish I could give you specifics. I know that you can, but I did not get the right hard drive when I downloaded this.
My bad.
So I don't have my save file from my completed one, but I know there is some link in there, and I'll have that in the review, what it is specifically.
Okay, let's go ahead and wrap up real quick, unless you have another enemy that you want to show, or a pretty.
No, nothing.
We're not going to go find our pretty. Okay, so it's coming out on.
It's coming out next Wednesday for the PC and Xbox Live Arcade, and I believe it's $20.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
So go check out the new episode from the Penny Arcade guys. Gabe and Tycho are awesome and fun, and they're just coming out with great games with Hothead. But in the meantime, getting off that vein a little bit, I actually was very lucky to go have a meal made for me by the creators of Big Bang Mini. And we actually took a camera and shot the whole thing. So let's go see if I can maybe not cut fingers off with knives. So we're obviously not in the studio, but I'm someone where I actually have access to a big knife. But along with this, I also have Camille. And Camille's going to tell you guys exactly who he is and why I have a big knife.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Camille. I am from a small studio based in Paris, a tiny studio, should I say, 4-person. And we have been making lately a second game for the DS called Big Bang Mini. And this has absolutely nothing to do with what we are doing right now.
Other than, besides making games, he also makes really good food.
First of all, why are we making this? I was making a joke. Of course, between my two studios, I almost wanted to make my own restaurant, but in the end I decided not to do that because of the kids and the fact that it's hard to come really late at night. So what I did is to have another studio and to hide a restaurant in it. So for all the friends of the industry within Paris, every Friday we have an open table. And so in the restaurant, I cook for them, and we have fun. And basically, we don't work that much on Friday afternoon. So what we're going to do tonight is some roasted veal.
Okay.
But with a twist. It's an easy recipe, so the idea would be for everyone to be able to do that once.
Even I can make it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, just to brag a little bit, you know, say, hey, I did that. Okay. You have some Swiss Gruyere. Yay! We're going to make a little word inside the piece of veal, and we're going to stuff it with a little bit of cheese, Swiss cheese. It's about £1, but they gave way too much, so we're going to have to eat it while we're doing that. It's really important to eat while you're doing. We are going to use some different fresh herbs. Onions. We have some fancy tomatoes. We have some prosciutto. This is the piece of veal. We are talking about a 2 pounds piece of veal. So first thing we have to do is to chop all these little guys, both onions and the shallots, in little tiny bits. There are many ways you can cut them. We'll do it the easy way. Go like this and just cut it. Yep.
And they just look cool.
They look cool, actually. Look at that.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
That looks like a fruit roll-up.
That should be in Little Big Planet. So now the idea is to try and turn this thing into some kind of a long slice. So we will try and do that the best way possible. It is all easy.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Here you go. Swiss Gruyere, yes.
He's French, he can say that. I'm not.
Gruyere. So you be careful not to put too many depth, because otherwise it's really hard to roll. There's going to be some left over. That's part of the trip. Okay. Okay, so now we're done. The little veal is ready to be cooked. Yes, it took us like between 10 to 15 minutes to prepare that. And we should allow it, I would say, for this kind of veal, I would say 40 to 50 minutes.
At about 350 Fahrenheit.
Whatever. 160 degrees Celsius.
We think it's 350 Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Now, we're doing it for science. What happens when a French developer gets burns? Does he cry? Does he yell? So here you go. Rôti de veau à l'italienne, it is called.
English?
Roasted veal, Italian style.
Fantastic.
Yay.
We are going to go nom noms.
Yes.
So.
Thanks.
A little culture for you.
Oh, that was like the best assignment. And I mean, the thing is, it really, okay, I can't cook. I burn water.
Right, I
Put it
noticed
that
you
way.
didn't contribute at all.
No, well, one, I just gotten sick, and so, you know, I'd washed my hands, but I wasn't trying to touch anything, which is why I was doing this the whole time. I was
Yeah.
trying to restrain myself from touching.
Right.
But also, I don't cook. I asked my parents, they've never seen me cook. I live off ramen. You know, most of my roommates cook. I'm eating ramen. But it's really, it's literally that simple. It's literally just chopping up some onions, chopping up some tomatoes, taking the meat and just kind of filleting it out, putting the stuff in it, wrapping it up, tying it up, and throwing it in the oven. It was literally, I didn't believe him.
Yeah.
When he's like, this is super simple. It's like, it's a piece of cake. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, so says the gourmet chef that built a kitchen in,
Right.
in his studio. It really was. I mean, even I could have made this,
That's
which
cool.
is saying something.
So he's a cook and he's making games too.
Yeah, and actually Big Bang Mini,
Yeah.
fun game.
Really?
Well, while it was cooking, we all played it.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
Really?
I was really surprised. It's definitely on that and the new Animal Crossing.
Oh,
for,
yeah.
For the Wii, or
Oh,
like my
yes.
two must-haves for,
Cool.
for my casual games.
Well, that was a fun piece, and,
good.
and you ate well.
Did we eat well?
Good. Well,
So good.
hope you guys enjoyed that segment. Right now, we still got a lot of business to attend to because the calendar is jam-packed from now on.
From now till the end of
From now to the end of the year. So let's go to the calendar because there is a ton of stuff we want to talk about. Of course, From the Bleachers is our GameSpot sports podcast. That'll be Monday. The Tuesday night game night is SOCOM Confrontation. So if you guys want to shoot
your
GameSpot,
PS3 on.
yes, get your PS3 and come shoot us. We want to be shot. And I think Tor mentioned it earlier. Hotspot's got a special guest next
It
week.
does. Ed Boon will be on Tuesday.
That's really cool. So he's going to be talking MK versus DC and plus whatever other
Whatever
questions.
else he feels like throwing in there.
Yeah, exactly. Brennan and Ricardo will be on there with him, I believe. And next week, On the Spot is a Halloween special.
It is. So you're wearing your costume, right? 'Cause I'm wearing my costume.
Yeah, I've got a costume in mind.
I
mind.
sure hope it's the costume I'm thinking of.
We'll see. We've got this helmet too. We're
Space
giving
helmet.
the Dead Space helmet that Tor wore at the top of the show. We're giving that away next week. And then, of course, the lineup, episode 7. That's our sports show.
You know what, though?
Yes.
With the lineup?
Yes.
The lineup actually got nominated for a Global Media Award in the Outstanding Long-Form Informational category, as well as
Yeah.
the GTA 4 review is nominated for a Global Media Award in the Outstanding Website Internet Information.
I wasn't going to say anything. You know, I'm a modest guy.
Those guys work so hard on
They
it. It's
do.
an awesome show. They definitely deserve it, and we hope they win.
And the lineup episode 7 is next Friday, Halloween night. So trust me, this show is going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. And of course, we mentioned at the top of the show, we weren't able to have Resistance 2 on the site on the show today, but we are having the marathon at 2 p.m. on Friday, October 31st. That's Halloween. So if you want to check out us playing Resistance 2 for a real long time,
It's going to be good.
Friday is the day to check it out. A couple other things. I guess our forums beta is now live.
It is for U.S. residents.
Okay.
It's not working so well for the beta for
Okay.
people outside the U.S.
But if you're on the U.S.
If you're in the U.S., go check it out. Just jump on the forums. There'll be links to everything. Check out the new look and style, and give us your feedback so we can change anything you want changed before we make this live. That's what a beta's for.
That's what we're doing. Should we get some stuff away?
Let's get that.
Giving this away next week.
Not this week.
Halloween episode, but right now I mentioned it earlier, Neverwinter Nights 2 Gold, signed by basically the entire dev staff at Obsidian. It's right here. We have a trivia question for that, guys. Let's put that up on the Kristen.
It is.
Go
Which
for it.
online service had the first Neverwinter Nights? A Prodigy, B AOL, C CompuServe, or D Genie?
That's right. That's
Some
a
of
good
those are
question.
old school,
Yeah.
man. Those are
Yeah, CompuServe? That's like late 80s. It's like
hey,
90s,
Prodigy?
man. Prodigy?
I played on Prodigy when I was little.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking back when I
I was doing ASL
Long
on Prodigy years ago.
yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah, oh, hey, yeah, you would.
All right, so if you think you know the answer, how do they enter that contest?
Use the trivia module. Don't email them in. We're not doing that anymore. We have the trivia module fixed, so sign up for an account. And just to the right of the little player, there's going to be a little trivia tab. So go ahead and make sure you watch the show live, and then use the trivia module, enter your answer there.
And the first person who gets that answer correct is going to win this copy of the game.
Using
That's
the
really,
trivia module.
Yes, use the trivia module. We don't even read email anymore.
No.
All right, so next week is the on-the-spot Halloween episode. This is being given. I just want to emphasize this. This would make a kick butt Halloween
Kick
costume.
butt, it would,
Yeah.
because you can actually see through this huge thing. I haven't put this on yet.
Yeah, and I want to mention, I'm glad that you're wearing that, Kristen, because this isn't just for guys. Girls can wear that.
Yeah, girls can wear it.
You can
So
you put
as
on
long as your head is small enough, it totally fits.
That
But
goes totally
I might need
well
a little
with-
padding, because
Yeah.
it kind of moves a little bit.
Girls can wear that. Anyway, that's careful now.
Don't turn your head and it hits you.
Yeah, don't, maybe not put it on. Just display it. Anyway, that's this week's episode of On the Spot. Thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll see you next week for our special Halloween episode.